Hello, we are live here in Topanga, California, and my hair is still wet because I got to swim in the ocean this morning. It was amazing, and I'm excited to, I'm excited to chat today. I wanted to talk about the root cause of gut issues. And I was talking to a client earlier this week, and she was sharing that she's been going through a really stressful time in her life. She owns 2 businesses, has been running these businesses, and has been noticing all of these digestive issues, all of these gut issues. And when she was speaking to me, she was saying, I know that if we can just find the root, if we can just find the one bacteria that is off and get rid of that, that'll get better, that I'll get rid of this, that'll feel better. And it's really interesting because I think a lot of us feel that way, or this is sometimes the information that's kind of out there right now a little bit too when it comes to gut issues, is there's so much around bacteria or like the root cause of things. But oftentimes the root cause of a thing isn't actually the root, it's another branch. And it's kind of tricky because we have to keep backing it up to understand what really is at the root, especially when it comes to gut issues. So this client who was sharing all of these different things that were going on in her life, all of these stressful events, how she wasn't sleeping, all of these different stressors, right, was so convinced that if she found the one thing, the one herb or supplement or antibiotic to wipe out the one strain of bacteria that was off in her gut, that she would get better. And the problem with that is that we're not gonna get what we want. We won't be successful. And I think that's the most frustrating piece, is that I want everyone to be really successful in healing. And I hate it. I hate it when we feel like nothing works for me, or I've tried all these things, but this doesn't work. Or I'm broken, I can't be healed, or my gut just can't be fixed, or all of these pieces. So when it really comes to getting to the roots of things like gut issues, and many of us with any kind of inflammatory health issue or autoimmune issue, right? The gut is an integral part of it as well, is we have to actually get to the root. So can you see how maybe if we're diagnosed with something like dysbiosis, imbalance of gut bacteria, or something like SIBO, small intestine bacteria overgrowth or something, that we can be like, oh my God, I found the root. Or of candida, let's say candida. By the way, I've been diagnosed with all of these things personally in the past, and we're like, I found the root. So if I can just get rid of that excess candida, if I can just get rid of that extra bacteria, take this supplement, then I'm gonna be good to go. And it's such a nice idea. Like, of course we want that. It's so much easier to just be able to like pick one thing or find one root or do that and think, oh my gosh, then maybe I can finally get some relief. And what we have to ask or look at is really, what is the environment in the body that allowed this overgrowth to occur? So in terms of gut dysfunction, if it's something like candida or like SIBO or dysbiosis, or just like poor digestion or low stomach acid or something like that, what's the environment that caused that to overgrow? That's the actual root. These imbalances are just branches of something. So you see, we have to continue to go back further and further. And that's where something like functional timelining can be really helpful. For all of my one-on-one coaching clients, I create what's called a functional timeline, and really just details your whole story so we can understand what led you to where you are at this moment in time. So say you're experiencing candida overgrowth or candida issues, we can look back and see maybe you took a lot of antibiotics as a kid, or other different medications or things like that. We can start to understand the terrain that had to be there for this overgrowth to then occur. So a lot of times we can get more information there. And the secret is, I mean, you've heard me probably talk about this many times, is that there is no one root. There is no one root. So whenever we're on this journey to seek the one thing, the one bacteria, the one whatever it is, using the one supplement or the one medication, we're gonna come up short. And it's because there's not one root. But one of the most common roots that I find with gut issues when we actually continue to back it up, is stress. And that's kind of one that we hate to hear a little bit because it feels like the one sometimes that we can do the least about. But what I want to tell you today is that's not true. But what I have seen time and time again, and with this client that I was speaking to, right, she put all her eggs in one basket of, okay, I got to just figure out what bacteria this is and take this right thing and get this right test, and then that's going to solve all my problems. But when we started to talk and we started to look at the timeline and we started to talk about her day-to-day life and how she was living her life, we could see that really the root was how she was living her life. It wasn't her fault, but there was a huge amount of stress and stressors on the body. And the thing is, we will dance in circles around this to not get at that root of stress or how we live our lives, because it's so much easier to take one supplement or, get a test to show us an imbalance, or kind of do like one thing to then resolve that, or take the, stomach acid supplement or whatever it is. And I'm the queen of dancing around these circles. And I know all the ways to do it. So when I work with my clients, we're able to see, where are you dancing around this? Where are we not actually getting at the roots at all, even if we think we are, So when we really truly back it up, we have to look at, how are we living our lives? Where is our stress in our body? Because stress in the body causes real physiological changes in the body, and especially the gut. We have this huge gut-brain connection. And it doesn't mean that these other interventions aren't important, but it means that if we really truly want to shift things at a terrain level so that there is no more opportunity for these infections or bacteria or digestive distress or inflammation and leaky gut to occur, that we really have to address, how are we living our lives? Where are we feeling stress in our body? Where is stress causing physiological issues in our body? And oftentimes when we ask, are you stressed? We might not even know. We might say no, nothing huge and catastrophic is happening to me. But when we can look at stressors, things that cause stress on the body, there are a number of different things. It can be lack of sleep. It can be lack of nutrients in the body. It can be lack of rest or downtime. It can be emotional stress. It can be repressed emotions that we're not able to feel. It can be so many different things that it can feel hard to grab onto. And this is what I see a lot, is we're kind of like, oh my gosh, I know it's a thing. Because if anyone listening is like, yeah, I am pretty stressed out all the time, or I'm just really depleted. I feel like I'm running on empty a lot. Let me know if you feel that way. Feeling depleted, or feeling like you're stretched thin, or feeling like you're always just go, and your body is feeling it. But when we ask, are you stressed? The answer might be no. Really, it might be no, because we don't really understand the different stressors that might be adding to this physiological response in the body. So it really is, if you feel like you're depleted all the time or stressed out all the time, it's definitely going to have an impact on your gut. And if you're working to heal something like SIBO or dysbiosis or candida or something like that, we really have to look at, what are these stressors and how can we begin to shift the way that we live our life, and sometimes even care for ourselves. And that can be a really hard pill to swallow, no pun intended, because it can feel hard to grab onto, and we're not really taught how to do that. For me personally, like I said, I've dealt with SIBO, with SIFO, with candida, with all of these things, and I was in a cycle of constantly taking different herbals, antifungals, all these different things, enzymes, stomach acid support, all of this, which were necessary and really helpful, but ultimately didn't really get at the root. The root, right? And that's all what we want, is to really get at this root. So we have to really take inventory and start to get aware and continue to back it up. And that's the work that I do with my clients, because that's the work that feels really hard to sometimes do on your own, but you can. And I'm going to give you a couple tools, and you probably already have some tools, but the first piece of this is we have to be aware. We have to take an inventory and really honestly look at ourselves and say, where am I overexerting myself? Where does my body feel stressed? Where do I carry my tension? How often am I in a sympathetic fight or flight state? And a lot of times we might find that we're in that all the time, and it's not your fault. And a lot of times it's the environment that we live in, the world around us, that really demands so much of us all the time, especially if you're caring for children, especially if you're working full time. The world demands a lot from us. So it's not like we're not taking care of ourselves, or we're not managing our stress, or we're not doing all these pieces, but there's a lot going on. And if we can just first become aware of how are we feeling on a daily basis and strengthen this muscle of understanding how we feel. So if we're asked the question, are you stressed? And we say no, we can actually really say, well, what does my body say? What is my body telling me right now? And that can be asking yourself these questions that I ask all the time to tune in. How am I feeling? What do I need? That can be it. You can do some journaling to understand that for yourself. You can do a brief body scan meditation and identify if there are little places in your body that feel tense or feel like they're holding on to something, and see if you can release that a little bit. Would anybody be interested to? This is making me think maybe we should do a video on how to like tangibly do some of these things, which would be fun, because I know it can feel hard to kind of grab onto sometimes. But first, we just have to get really honest with ourselves about our stress. And being stressed does not mean that it's all in our head. I hate that when we're made to think that or feel that. It's not what it means. It's very physiological. So if we really are not getting any sleep, if we really are stretched way too thin, if we really are in constant hustle, go, 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 fight mode, if we really are suppressing all of our emotions and have no way to actually get them out or process them, physiologically, our body's going to change. Our mind and our gut are talking to each other constantly as well, so you're going to feel it in your gut. So first, get aware with some of those practices, and let me know if you want to know more about those. I have a treasure trove. And the second thing, this is very simple, right, is to breathe. Really, really actually breathe. So feel right now, where are you breathing? Are you breathing? And what I want you to do is breathe into your diaphragm. You can tie a sweatshirt or a towel or something around your ribs, kind of upper ribs right here, and breathe, filling in the whole thing. Your ribs expanding, your ribs moving to the front and the back and the sides. Breathe. It might feel like it's stretching you, or stretching your diaphragm, or stretching your muscles. When I first started doing this, it felt like really not good and weird because my diaphragm had not moved in this way, because I was breathing really shallow in my chest. So just take a couple of those breaths, breathe. When we're breathing, it's our tool that allows us to communicate to our nervous system. Not only is it really physically pushing our organs out and moving our body, but it is communicating to the body through our nervous system that we're alive, that we're okay, that we're here. It's giving the body these signals that when we're breathing really shallow and our diaphragm is kind of tight and our body might be like closed in like this, that we're not okay, that we're in fight or flight. And so breathe into the diaphragm as much as you can to stretch that. Not only will it help your gut and your digestive organs to get more space, but it's going to tell the body that you're okay. And so what we're doing is backing it up, right? So we started at the very beginning with, if only I could find that one bacteria imbalance, if I could get that one test that would show me if I have that candida, if I have that parasite, if I have that thing. Yes, those are important. Absolutely work towards those interventions. I call them tier 3 interventions, sometimes tier 2 or tier 3. But we have to start at the roots and understand what is causing or allowing these overgrowths to occur. And that's the terrain in the body. And there's, again, many different things that can add to that. And one of the most common ones that we dance around a lot is stress, is the body being stressed, in a state of stress, really physiologically. So I just wanted to put that out there. I hope it's helpful for you. If you have any questions about it, I would love to answer them. I would love to share more about this, because I think we just kind of like poked the surface here on this, and this is a huge amount of work that I do with my clients on a daily basis, because it really involves awareness and unwinding over time, right? These things that we've done for years and years that may have led us to this place, it can feel hard to unwind. I'm in that camp too, like I'm doing this all with you. And so we have to kind of work through it to pull it all apart, to then really start to see these big shifts. But starting with awareness and breath, I promise you, will get you so far, no matter where you're at right now. Like, those are my two biggest things as well. So let me know if you have any questions. If you want to learn more about this and autoimmunity and the 3 pillars of autoimmune health and really what we can do to bring all these pieces together, mind, body, spirit, you can tune into my 3 Pillars of Autoimmune Health Masterclass for free. It's just a 30-minute masterclass that really goes through all of these different pieces. You can sign up at the link in my bio and you can watch it instantly, which is very easy and exciting. And you'll also be able to learn more about my Live Well program too, my online program, which really gives you even more tools to walk through all these steps, step by step, because as we know, like I said, what's gotten us to this point, whether it's digestive issues, digestive distress, fatigue, autoimmunity, maybe a diagnosis, maybe not. We have to start with this awareness to start to unwind these pieces in many different areas of our life. And I assure you that no matter where you are at, it is possible for you to use these tools to support your body, to feel better. Really, truly, like, this is it. And this is what I'm really passionate about helping people find, is find the actual roots, because the actual roots are oftentimes what we think of as actual roots are the branches. So let me know how you feel, what questions you have. I'm here to help, and I hope you have a lovely day.